My name is Elizabeth Sherwood, and I'm a pastor here at Newburgh Friends. About a year ago, there was concern within our congregation of how we could practically respond to the world refugee crisis. We joined with North Valley Friends and started a group called Refugee Response Committee. We have about 70 folks that are involved at one level or another. A year ago, we had a sewing packing project for Mennonite Central Committee. We made 100 fabric knapsacks that we then filled with hygiene supplies. Those are then shipped out through the Mennonite Central Committee directly to refugee camps. They either went to Jordan or Greece, and they are distributed to refugees there who just need some very practical things like soap, washcloth, toothpaste, that sort of thing. Then after that, we decided that we were going to figure out how we could extend our hospitality here at home and engage with the resettlement project that happens in Portland through Catholic Charities. We did a project called the Welcome Home Project, where we literally collected everything for a 3-bedroom home. So big furniture from sofas and beds and dressers to everything to completely outfit a kitchen, a refrigerator, spices, the whole works. And we did that with North Valley, and we collected all of that literally within a week and a half. In August, we got a call from Catholic Charities that there was a Syrian family of 7 arriving in the States. Catholic Charities had not been able yet to obtain housing for them, so they were asked if people from our community that could put them up for a few days. So Ben and Emily, a couple from our church, graciously opened up their home, and those 2 or 3 days ended up being a week and a half.
So our church had been gathering supplies to furnish an apartment for a refugee family when they would come, and we got an email that said, oh, there's this need for emergency housing.
And we heard that over just before like a weekend started, and Emily was out of town, and she called me and she was like, hey, do you mind if we like volunteer for emergency housing? And I said, yeah, that's totally fine.
The kids are really helpful in connecting with people because kids are just happy to play.
They grew fairly comfortable with us pretty
quickly within a couple days. I think also we had really good support from our church, and so we have a lot of families that we're close with who have kids their kids' ages, and so several of those families were spending time here.
Yeah, and we wanted to make sure that they knew right from getting here that the house was theirs.
Yeah.
In the evenings, we all did like huge 9-person dinners or more, depending on
we would like
who else
all
was
sit for
around.
dinner. It was so fun.
And I think you get comfortable when you're sharing meals, and even if you can't share a language, you're giving each other food and enjoying food together. And I think that there's a real sense of community in that.
I loved like when we would come home from work, they would like run out to greet us because we both were working full time, so they were here by them, not usually by themselves. There usually would be people here, but I think we were the people that they knew the best, and so I have a lot of sweet memories of just like pulling up, and they would like run out and be happy to see us because we're familiar faces, and going to the park with them was super fun. And just like I remember the first morning that we were here, and the youngest just wanted to go down the slide over and over and over, and I mean literally she just went down the slide probably for 20 to 30 minutes without stopping, and the dad just like watched her like the whole time and was like so patient with her about it, and like took video and sent it to, later I found out, like I think to his brother. And so I think that felt really like profound, both in how normal it was and also that like this feels safe to them, and like they finally get to let their kid be at the park and they're not worried about their kids being hurt or stolen or tortured, which is like what we found out were part of the reasons that they left, were that boys their son's age were being stolen from the streets.
They're very resilient people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's incredibly hard, and you know, they've been in the States for about 3.5 months, or that's not very long. And I think that they've come a long way. I mean, I think that a lot of discovering that people are people is in hearing stories that you feel like could apply to yourself. Is in seeing faces rather and names and persons rather than statistics. It's not like the Syrian people out there in the Middle East. It's this family that we took care of. And I mean, we didn't do that. We haven't had 5 million refugees through our house. Yeah, but you know, you do what you can.
But
And
we had 7.
but I think that it's seeing that these people, you know, this family had a lot of experiences that could have been taking place anywhere in the world. I I mean, if the roles were reversed, I'd want them to view me as a person. And I think that like one of the things that like is so important is just to remember constantly that like they're not the Syrian people, but this is like our friends and our
Our friends.
family.